If you want, you can keep your video on, or otherwise it's fine. Like in just 2 minutes, we'll start the event. We can enter the participants. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on time. Please stay tuned for 2-3 more minutes. We will soon start our session. Today is Friday, and whenever anybody joins Friday session, that means they are very eager to learn something. So very happy to have all of you here. Well, it's 3 o'clock. Once again, good afternoon to everyone. Once again, I am very happy to have you, all of you, over here on this Friday noon. Now, let's begin with our today's masterclass. Whether you work at a business, manage it, or own it, you all have the same goal. You don't want anyone to get hurt on the job. And that's something each one of us can do to make sure we all go home as whole as we had started the day. One step at a time, we can make our workplaces better places to work. Gender based harassment, violence, and discriminations are pervasive practices affecting millions of female workers worldwide. So, now let's hear it from our expert how we can create a safe workplace. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2020 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Creating Safe Workplaces. For HRAI events and details, I would request all our participants to visit the link shared in the chat window. Do follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. Well, your feedback is very valuable to us. For the same, we will be running a poll before a Q&A session, so requesting all participants to kindly give your valuable feedback on the session. I now take privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Ms. Vandana Teji, founder and chief consultant of the Unicorn People. Ms. Vandana is a human resource professional with over 13 years of industry experience. She holds a degree in strategic human resource management from the National University of Singapore. She is the founder of the Unicorn People, a new age HR consulting firm, and also a co-founder of Entraco, an employee management app. She has been empaneled by the Government of India as a resource person to spread the awareness for the prevention of sexual harassment of women at workplace. She acts as an external member for the internal committee of various organizations where she guides for making policies, grievance handling, and resolution to enable a safe workplace. She is also an active member for Green Heart Dignity Italy and is working towards the achievement of an UN Sustainable Development Goals. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been provided in the chat window. I am very excited for today's session. I'm going to learn so many things, and I'm sure you all are too excited. So now let's welcome Ms. Vandana Teji to take over this session. Over to you, Vandana.
Thank you so much, Nihali. Thank you. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I want to highlight that today that we are going to do is going to be a true dialogue. Yes, I want you to get actively involved. For this, please use the chat box extensively and for sharing your thoughts and questions. All geared up, right, everybody? Great. Please start using the chat window and, because we are going to talk extensively. True dialogue. Okay. So to set the context right, Nihali, you said it absolutely right that creating safe workplaces is one of the top priority of the employers across the world. No one wants their employees to get hurt on the job. True, true, very true. Talks and protests about safe working places have been going on since industrial revolution times, not just today. And when did industrial revolution begin? Way back in 1760s and 1800s. In fact, the first Indian Factories Act came into existence in 1881, right? All this focused on the physical safety of employees, but nothing much to prevent sexual harassment or mental wellness at workplace. While women was always a part of the workforce. They worked side by side with their men in their family. But sexual harassment and mental wellness and physical safety physical safety has always had the upper hand. And talks about sexual harassment came into picture much later, which we will discuss. Yeah, if you actually I was reading through latest research which catalyst.org, which is a research organization, had published, in October 2020, based on a report which was done, research which was done in 2019. Women in India are closing the education gap. Good news, right, everybody? you know we have 53% of women who are now graduates. Congratulations, women. However, despite this, only 20.3% participate in industrial workforce. That's the reality. Even though 50% of women are now getting education, however, only 20.3% are actually going ahead to become a part of industrial workforce. The reasons are many. Some are patriarchal, some are, you know, the safety issues, which which is a prime concern for women, herself, the family, and the friends around. They don't feel safe at workplace. With this, I begin. Now, before we go ahead, okay, let's first understand what exactly is sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is unwelcome acts or behavior. This is a definition, which includes physical contact or advances, a demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, any other unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. Now, one thing that you have to remember, this is just an indicative list. doesn't include everything. There can be a scenario wherein the list is, whatever is stated in the list over here is not there. But that doesn't mean if that act made the person, unwelcome, was an unwelcome act, made the person uncomfortable, that behavior will be and is on the verge of sexual harassment will be considered. And we can definitely discuss further on it. But that is something that you already knew, right? Of course, you are all HR professionals and you are quite knowledgeable. I understand that you were aware of this. At this point, do you have any questions for me? If you don't have, I have one question for you, and it is on your screen now. Please take the poll. Which rights of a woman are violated upon sexual harassment? Equal protection under the law, live a life free from discrimination on any ground, protection of life and personal liberty, all of the above. Mhm. Please take the poll. We have 44 people. Only 15 responded. 17. Okay. Please, this is for your own learning. If you as HR professionals want to understand, you must participate in this. Sexual harassment is a concern not just for the HR, but it is an organizational issue. And every employee who is working, in fact, it is for everybody, every citizen of India. Please make sure, and if you're sitting in the classroom, please make sure that you vote. It takes just a minute, not even a minute. Only 60% people have voted. Okay. So the major answer has been all of the above. That is 70% of the people replied all of the above. Thank you so much. Yes, yes. You know, sexual harassment leads to the violation of three important rights that as a citizen of India, we all have. That is the equal protection under the law, living a life free from discrimination on any ground, protection of life and personal liberty. And if a woman is sexually harassed, all these rights are violated for her. Okay, so we have the next question. Okay, this is a fairly simple one. Rocky Road is a consulting firm with just 8 employees. Is Posh Act 2013 applicable to them? Come on, people. Just a yes or no. Gayatri, I will come to that question. So the full form of POSH is Prevention of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Act 2013. That is the full form. It is popularly known as POSH Act. Okay, so 26 people have answered. Okay, so yes, people, 77% of people said yes to it. Yes, you're right. And please understand the, you know, it is applicable to every company, every employer is, this act is applicable. However, only if you have more than 10 people, then you are required or mandated by the act to formulate an internal committee. And what is an internal committee? I'll definitely come to that. So yes, the answer here is yes. It is applicable even though you have just 8 employees. So that was a quick quiz for all of you. Let's go back to the presentation. The act. We will talk a little about the act now. In 1992, Bhavri Devi, a government of social worker, she was a social worker, Santhin, in the Rajasthan government, was gang raped in front of her husband and by the higher caste neighbors whom she had angered because all she did was she was trying to stop child marriage in their family. A lower court acquitted the accused of rape and convicted them with the lesser offenses, for which they just served 9 months in jail. The appeal is still pending in State High Court, 28 years later. Bhavri Devi is still fighting for justice. However, what Bhavri Devi did, she ignited was an outrage of demanding the Indian government to provide safety to women at workplace, which led to the formulation of Vishaka guidelines in 1997. Yes, after so many years, 1800s, we come to 1997. That's what the time, the government took to realize that sexual harassment is a big issue which is happening at the workplace. And after so many years, all we got was the guidelines. The guidelines, at least we had the guidelines, we were happy about it. Okay. Employers protect their female employees from sexual harassment at the workplace and provide procedures for resolution, settlement, and prosecution. That was in nutshell about Vishaka guidelines. Now, in 2013, when the country was burning due to the Nirbhaya rape case, the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act, Prevention, Prohibition, Redressal Act 2013 came into existence. This was in light with the increasing number of women in the workforce, and government understood that it is high time that we provide them with an act to protect them. As per the act, it is mandated to all employers that they must protect their women workforce from sexual harassment at workplace. In 2017 to 2019, the hashtag MeToo movement, I think everybody heard about it. They created a lot of awareness on the fact that women must report such acts as behaviors that to the required authorities. If they don't report, then the authorities cannot take actions against a perpetrator. As a result, what happened? Though a lot of time the hashtag Me Too campaign was on the social media. So what happened? That people did talk about it. Women did talk about the harassment which was happening at workplace, but this was on social media. And there was no formal complaint process which was followed. As a result, not many people were prosecuted. However, what it gave It gave a big jerk to the Indian workforce. It gave a big jerk to the companies across India that they have to wake up and start conducting sensitivity sessions for the learning of their employees. Very, very important. They understand what is sexual harassment and what all they should not do or what all they should do to protect women rights. So this is how the act began. Any questions? Do we have any questions? Feel free to put in. Or you can unmute and talk also. I don't have any issues. So no questions, assuming. I'm moving ahead to the next slide, which talks about the major components of this act. Now, the major components of this act are, number one, you have the aggrieved woman. And who can this aggrieved woman be? All women who are engaged directly or indirectly with or without the information of the employer. Okay. Anybody who is visiting your office or your office premises, a student, all of them, the act covers all of them. Any one of them can be an aggrieved woman and they can come to you with a complaint, which you will have to process as an organization if you have an internal committee. Now, I have been talking a lot on internal committee. I will discuss here what exactly is an internal committee. But before that, employer. Who is an employer? Any head of the department, manager, owner, site head, any person who is working as a supervisor. In case the act, because the act also covers our domestic helps, in case you are employing a domestic support, the person or the household who are employing are the employer for that women. Now, what is a workplace? Any place visited by the employee during the course of employment is a workplace. And who is a respondent? The person against whom the complaint has been filed. Now, what is an internal committee? Internal committee, as I told earlier, any organization which has more than 10 employees, it doesn't matter whether they are all women, all men, doesn't matter. If you are more than 10 employees, the Act mandates you to formulate an internal committee. The responsibility of this internal committee is to prohibit and prevent sexual harassment at workplace. And in case there is a case which is registered, which comes to the committee, it is the function of this committee or the work of this committee to ensure a proper redressal mechanism is provided to the women who has approached the committee. Understand that the IC should have minimum 50% representation. Okay. Earlier, I also want to mention the small thing. Internal committee was known as Internal Complaints Committee. Reason being, a lot of people thought that the committee is only in case there is a complaint which comes. However, Government of India went ahead and increased the scope of the internal committee to ensure prevention, prohibition, and redressal, which are the three major important part of the act. So, as a part of an internal committee, you will have to, if you are a part of it, okay, you will have to ensure all of it. Now, I was talking about it has to have 50% representation of women. IC members are appointed for a maximum of 3 years, not more than that. And the very important thing that it must have an external member who can be a part of an NGO or a law firm or who worked extensively in the field of women development, comes with a lot of knowledge to help manage scenarios and compliance, both. So that's in a nutshell, the major components of the act. Any questions, feel free to put in now. And if you don't have any questions, I always have one. So please, now you have this question. Okay, so as per the act, which of these is not a workplace? Company guest house, factory, company cab, client office, none. It's a tricky question. Please pay attention. Take time to participate in this vote, because believe me, this will be a learning forever. I have been an HR professional myself, and there are confusions. I know that, and that's okay to have confusions. But this is your moment to get those doubts clarified, and nobody gets to know who has answered what. So there is no finger pointing. Feel free to answer the questions. Okay, okay. So we have 65% people who have voted. Great.
Hey
68.
Vandana, we have a question from Gayatri.
Yes, please ask me.
Even even when you are on the way to workplace is considered to be a employee. Is she correct?
I did not get the question. Yes, so right now I will give you the answer. All of this, the poll gets over. Okay. So all of this given here, company guest house, factory, company cab, client office, everything is a part of workplace. Now to Gayatri's question, in case you are using a company cab, yes, it is a part of workplace. However, in case you are not using a company cab, you're using your own conveyance, then it is not considered under workplace. However, the responsibility of listening and managing the case doesn't get over for an internal committee. Okay. So in case the women who has aggrieved women has faced harassment while traveling to work, she can approach you, and you as an internal committee will have to support the process. In case you can't do much, you will have to reach to the local committee, which is an additional committee in case the company has less than 10 employees, and there's a local committee which is assigned. The case goes to the local committee. In case there is a direction which is needed, we have the district magistrate office which will help you give direction. I hope I have answered the question correctly. As per you, does this?
We have another follow-up question on this.
Mhm.
While going to work on the way, is this if this incident take place, then what?
While going on the way to work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So in case you can, if the person is going through this situation, and if it is something which you can either deboard the cab, you can either deboard the cab at that point itself and go to the nearest police station and complain. That is the action. In case you don't want to deboard, once you reach your destination, you can actually go ahead and report your complaint. You also have, because public transport is, again, if you're using a public transport, it will come under LC. So you can directly go to the police station, or you can go to the IC of your office, and they will help you reach to the right people.
All right. Another question we have from Rashi. What about taking public transport and going to client location for official purpose?
It will be managed by by both. So in case if you are taking a public transport, okay, again the liber understand the law is framed in such a manner that both LC and IC is in support of the person, aggrieved women. If the aggrieved woman wants to go ahead and report a police complaint or want to report it in an LC, she can do that. If not, the IC of the company will anyways cover, because that will cover as a workplace, because she is traveling for work purpose from office to.
Another
Yes,
question from Divya. Is the POSH Act applicable to colleges and their students?
yes, it is. It is. POSH Act covers, in fact, it categorically mentions that the aggrieved women can be a visitor, a employee, or a student. Because in case the workplace is a educational institution, although the student is not really working but actually studying, but the act will cover her. Any other questions?
No, we can move ahead.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, now we move to the next slide, which talks about facts. Okay, so fact. This fact data has been taken from NCRB database. NCRB is National Crime Bureau of India. 2019 report has been published, and the number of rapes which have been reported is 88 rapes that take place in every day in India. Almost 7% rise since 2018. There has been a rise. And the conviction rate continues to be at a low of just 27.8%. So that means if there are 100 cases which are getting reported, only 28 people are basically convicted. And these are just the reported numbers. And then you will ask this question to me: Vandana, we are here to talk about sexual harassment at workplace and not rape. Rape is something we read about it every day in newspaper, and we understand it is a sorry picture for the country. Why don't you tell us something, some data about sexual harassment? To which I would apologize, because there is no database in true sense to refer to. While there are a lot of research paper which gets published, but research has a very minimum conditions are fulfilled in order to even accept it as a research. So the last research which was done in 2017. For you to also understand that NCRB will only manage those cases which are reported to a police station, not the IC committee, because IC committee has been formulated. If it is formulated in your company, and if your company is a public limited company, then annually the return, the company, the report that you file it will have that in it. The numbers would be there, but then again, these numbers are entered by the people working in that company. And there can be a scenario you have 20,000 employees working, but only 2 sexual harassment cases reported. And why so? Because if you see in 2017, this is the latest research, the most reliable. Even Harvard relies to only this data which has been done, captured. That is 2017 survey by Indian National Bar Association with over 6,000 employees. And this is the largest size of people, batch size of people that they had considered for a sexual harassment at workplace survey. So, what did the survey give us? The survey gave us that the sexual harassment reasons of being sexually harassed, ranged from a lewd remark to actually sexual favors. Really, people do demand outrightly sexual favors, and that doesn't get over there. 68% of people, working women, educated working women, continue to choose not to report it. Reason being the stigma associated, the fear of retribution, embarrassment, everybody is going to question and doubt me, lack of knowledge and trust of policies and procedures. They don't trust the policy, the system, or the process that there would be a fair trial. I know the picture is really, really overwhelming. If we see on the next slide, I will show you this is the data based on the NCRB report, which has been published in 2019 basis. Very recently, it has been published. The total number of sexual offenses which are happening in a year in 2019 happened is like 1,31,566 in number. While I can't really go ahead and break it down as to how many were workplace, because that's not even a category there. I am just leaving it here for you to probably imbibe it, see it for yourself. I know the data is overwhelming and it creates a very strong impact, but we cannot leave it there. It is important to defend our employees against sexual harassment. It is important that we start with the basic question. And what is that basic question? How do we do it? This is the question that you're supposed to ask yourself. How do we do it? History of war and sports have one thing in common: understanding the characteristic features of your opponent and then strategizing to hit on the weak points and shield against their strengths. So let's begin by identifying the characteristic features of sexual harassment. What are the characteristic features? It is definitely unwelcome, sexual in nature, a subjective experience. Please understand it is a subjective experience. Impact, not the intent that matters. So please don't tell this is not what I intended. Because what can hurt me cannot hurt you, and you might be, almost of the same age group, as a female, you might be of the same age group, same, race, ethnicity, everything might be the same. But what hits me will not hit somebody else. So nobody can question that. What is the bottom line? Is that it was an unwelcome behavior which made me feel uncomfortable. Often occurs in a matrix of power. Yes, it occurs in the matrix of power. When I say power, when I say the case of Bhavri Devi, why do you think Bhavri Devi was raped and her husband was not able to protect her? Because they were men who ganged up against the family. They were higher class men. And in villages, we sitting in the cities can talk, that I don't believe in race, ethnicity, or caste, anything. But this is the reality of the village, and India continues to be like mostly the population is in villages. So please make sure that you realize this. Next slide. If you see, in the next slide, I will talk again about identifying sexual harassment. Now, this has been divided into two basic forms. Okay. One is called quid pro quo. Okay. What does it mean? It means this for that. What does it mean? That you give me this, I will give you that. You
I'll request
are
everyone
present
to.
or future.
Hi, Vandana, I guess there is a lag.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now it is okay.
Okay, so where did I go away? Where where was I? If you can just tell me.
We had just started these slide.
Okay, so this slide. Okay, great. So quid pro quo. I will, the sexual harassment has been, into two forms based on the inappropriate behaviors. It has been divided into two forms. One is quid pro quo, that is this for that. You give me this, I will do this for you. That means you do six sexual favors and I will give you a promotion. You give me sexual favor and I will give you a demotion. That is implied or explicit promise of preferential detrimental treatment in employment, implied or express threat about her present or future employment status. Why don't you become my girlfriend, and probably I can hire you for my company. It is as simple as that. Hostile, but you know what, this quid pro quo cases come very less because everybody has become smart. So why not the men who are doing it, or not just men, I would say people who are doing it. Hostile work environment, creating a hostile, intimidating, or an offensive work environment, humiliating treatment likely to affect health or safety. What happens? You are cracking a joke amongst your friends. It's a sexist joke, it's a women centric joke, and everybody laughs. But nobody notices the women sitting right across the corner or just passing by who got offended because of it. Commonly, what we do, we go ahead and share sexist jokes, where in, work from home and work for home or work for wife. That is a new joke which has come into picture. Why is the home only for the wife and not for the husband? So these kind of sexist remarks, double meaning. I know, and you all know the double meaning. While you can, we all enjoy those songs. I really don't want to sing one, but then, you know, the famous song I remember while I was growing up and I used to hum and dance to it was, कॉलेज में नई नई आई एक लड़की है. I Today I hear this song and I think, oh my god, what a song. Not what a song with an exclamation. It continues to be an explanation, but this time I feel ashamed that I used to sing that song. But that's how it is when you go on picnics, when you go on office parties. You're sitting and these sorts of music is playing. Sometimes there are female for whom it doesn't matter, but there are other times where people actually feel about it. They are sensitive to these issues and we must be sensitive to this too. So that's how you identify sexual harassment. Any question on this slide
We
before
have
I move?
we have one question. If harassed person is not ready to go to police station due to pressure or not willing to do FRI in police station, then how to help such candidates, even knowing that it's needed and very important in fact.
In fact, one more scenario that I can add to it, there is a scenario that, the person who has undergone, aggrieved women who has undergone this scenario, she is not in a capacity to walk around because it has mentally harassed her so much that she is scared of going to the police station. If you really want to help those people, you can actually go ahead and work as a complainant and put the complaint. While the complaint, the process is a lengthy process, it will take time, but please believe me, it is important to record. An internal committee need not actually go to the police station. They can actually clarify things at their own level because they have the rights of a civil court.
Another question on this: what about office DJ parties where we have such songs being played? Can a complaint be made on that also?
Again, office DJs parties, a complaint can definitely be made. I am not denying that. So let's just stick to music. Believe me, music is good. Words are offensive and they stay longer.
Follow-up question on the earlier one. It is a long process to file an FIR and lots of formalities needed than what we need to do.
I know that. We have the internal committee and the LC committee, which has if you actually reach to them, they have a mandate of solving this case within just 90 days. And government also is trying their level best to make sure that there are quicker decisions.
Okay.
Any other question?
Yes, we have a question from Maitri, and again follow-up question. I have faced that police will not take complaint unless and until victim will visit.
Not see not in that case. I would not suggest, in there can be a scenario, and I have been a part of it, wherein the person was not in a mindset. However, please understand, there is a lot of taboo that we have to, there's a lot of discussion that we have to do with the complainant also before we actually, as an organization, as an HR, the responsibility lies with us, the onus lies with us to listen to them, to direct them, to guide them, to make sure that they understand and believe the redressal mechanism that we have.
Maitri again have a question like, what if a victim denies to give statement in front of police?
There has been situation like that. Nothing can be done there.
Okay. A question from Tushar. What all trainings should be provided to employees so that they can contribute in maintaining safe workplace?
The trainings which can be given is, again, while the annual awareness training is a part of the compliance checklist. However, I don't think, if you really want to see a change, the training should happen annually. Until unless we make it a way of life, we make sure that we do ample communication in the form of verbal as well as written, okay, with our employees. Sensitize them right from the day of joining, right from induction day. They must be sensitized and trained. So I suggest quarterly training for all my people with whom I'm working. I suggest quarterly discussion sessions wherein we discuss cases openly, which I will run today with you too.
Very valid point, Vandana. Annual trainings will not help, even it will not be that effective.
Who remembers annual training?
Yeah.
And LMS will not work here. That's another point, unfortunately. Okay, let's begin with this case now. Okay, and so I think there's one more question.
Yes. Question from Divya. What if the person is powerful enough and the victim cannot do anything? This is a common scenario like we have seen in the movies or even in our society. So very valid question.
I know Bhavri Devi is still fighting a case. What is required is for women to understand the right, their rights, how to be smart. In case this has happened to them, they should and must report them. Please understand, I know it is not right. I know it is not right. I know Nirbhaya case took so much time. I know that. But understand, the judiciary system is formulated in such a manner to ensure the right people are prosecuted. A lot of time there are so many incorrect and not required and unnecessary complaints which are there pending in the courts, which courts usually just dismiss. To pay attention to these cases, I know that the procedure is long, However, we have to together as a society stay stronger, become stronger. The stronger we become, unity has a lot of strength. And we must together as a society, just pledge to stop sexual harassment. If you see, if you see that happening, have the guts to stand and question it. I think I have got so many
Yeah, these days rape cases are seen every day in newspaper and in media. Lot of tension. Your guidance to all.
Yes, as I said, 2019 report clearly states 88, and these are just reported rape cases. Please understand, not reported. I don't know how many are there. And that is the reason I tell this has to begin at home. Until and unless you start treating your all kids as equal, stop giving discriminatory feel, making different rules for different people, different, one kid has this rule, then the other kid has that rule. Yes, the sex education is happening, and is happening extensively in the school, in the wherein they are talking about good touch and bad touch, so that they're conditioning kids to remember that, to understand as to what exactly is acceptable and what is not acceptable, while the change is happening slowly. In fact, yesterday I posted one on my WhatsApp status, that we need to question the school uniform. Why does school uniform is divided as per gender? Why not, I come in shorts myself, girl child also can wear a short and come to school, or trousers to school. Why is that option is not given? I might feel comfortable in a trouser, not in a skirt. So to which one of my friend actually replied, yes, there are schools which are making changes, and I was so happy about it. Yeah, I know. I know. Please understand. In the Industrial Act came in 1800s, and the sexual harassment guideline came in 2007. We have lost so many years in conditioning our people. In fact, till today, you will see a child, who is a female child is treated differently than a male child. Yes, we all know what happened in UP. In fact, police is telling that there was no rape. So while, we can discuss this extensively, and there are a lot of discussions, and I will actually invite you after this session for us to join such a discussion, which we are organizing on the 31st. That's just tomorrow. Let's go back to the workplace and look at this case, so that we at least can do what is required. So Oroville Inc. is a startup firm and has a flat organization structure with open door policy. They are a team of young professionals who love to party every Friday. You are the HR manager and also the internal committee member of this firm. So, congratulations on that. And now, Ron, who is the marketing manager, invites his colleague Anya from finance to go out for coffee with him. Let's see. I have a question for you then. Now, do with this offer? Should she accept it, reject it, postpone it, accept only if she wishes? 45 people, out of them, only 8 are replying. I have formed these cases with my heart and mind. I would request everybody to participate. This is for your own clarity. This will help you be better HR professionals. You can help employees better. Please pay attention to this case, even if you have not paid attention to the other ones. Yeah, instant coffee. Yeah, we all are missing. Work from home doesn't give us instant coffee anymore. Okay, we have 17 people, 18 people who have voted. Very nice. We will wait for a few more seconds. I really request everybody to pay a little attention here. Just a short case that I have created to make sure your doubts are clarified here. And when I say about doubts, believe me, even the lawyers of the Supreme Court, they feel they have a lot of doubt around this case, considering the subjectivity in this case. Okay. We have 27, 60% people. Okay, so we had 63% of people who say accept only if she wishes to. So right, accept only if she wishes to. Workplace dating will happen, okay? And there is no harm in dating. In case there is a relationship, there are a lot of companies who have policies wherein you need to announce that, and that is there for a reason, so that there is no direct reporting structure between two people, because that will become conflict of interest. But if she wishes, she can definitely go. Who are we to tell her to accept, reject, or postpone? If she wishes, she can. And that is the power that we must give our girls at home also. If you don't allow them to take decisions early in life, they will not learn how to take decisions. Okay, next go back to the case again. Okay, so now Anya rejects his invite. Now what? Now what should Ron do? That's the next question. Correct. What should Ron do? Question her, apologize to her, drop it, tell his boss. Yes. Come on, just 5 minutes, not more than that will this case take, because I need to hand over. Okay. Come on, guys. 17 people have voted. Can I see? No, Gayatri, I will give you an option here. Okay. Okay, so we have the answer. Drop it. Yes, you all are right. All those 52 people who have voted, drop it is right. Apologizing is nice. Questioning, please don't. Tell his boss, please don't. Dropping it is the best thing to do. Further apologizing is gonna increase the case scenario. Sometimes dropping it, letting it be where it is. You asked, she rejected, that's okay. It's one day at a day, go. Let it be. Don't make a big thing out of it. Any questions? Okay, let's move ahead. I have a question. However, Ron started to ask her out almost every Friday. This has been happening for almost 2 months now. What should Anya do? Please tell her. That's my question to you. Talk to Ron. Talk to Ron's boss. Do not talk to anyone. Talk to her boss or IC member.
Vandana, if you can explain participants, how do they answer as per the HR policies or as per the answer they feel, as per their personality?
Personality.
Okay.
See, I'm a believer that the policy is just to frame our thought process. Doing the right thing every time is something which should be inculcated in our brain. And you should answer it as per your thought process and your behavior. Only then can you actually see changes happening. Right, guys? So I have seen 20 people have voted. Can we have few more votes? Okay, time is over. Talk to Ron. Oh my God. Please don't talk to Ron. Talk to your boss or talk to an IC member. First of all, this person is somebody, if you would have understood, he would have understood in the very first go that you don't want to go out with him on a date. If he's still persisting, and for 2 months, what is the understanding level of this person? He takes 2 months and he's still continuing to do that. He's asking every Friday, and I'm denying every Friday. What is the IQ level here? So, no questions. Please talk to your boss or an IC member. Am I clear on this? Let's go back to the case. Oh, yeah, men ego will get hurt. And who cares about it? We have cared a lot about men ego. Let's move ahead. Anya decides to report Ron's behavior to you. So now you are the IC member and you must listen to what Anya has to say. Now, my next question is to you. What will you ask Anya to do first? The first thing, write down her complaint, listen to her story, talk to IC chairperson, talk to Ron. What do you think should be done? This is something which will happen all the time to you because you are the HR person. And if you are actually casting that image wherein people can actually come to you and talk about such a cases and issues without the fear of being dismissed, I think you have won at least one step. Yes. Promise this is going to be the last question. Won't bother you much with questions. Okay. Okay. I think, yes, we are done with the timing. Yes. Listen to her story. Congratulations. I think all my HR business partners or and professionals sitting in the room are aware of the story. Please listen to her story. Very, very important. Anybody who walks up to you with a sexual harassment complaint, important thing is to listen. I know I am the IC external member. I know that the IC requires you to have a written complaint. And as soon as the person writes, it is better because she will remember things in a more clear manner. But believe me, listen to her first. That can be the step two. Yes, that can be the step two. Talking to IC chairperson can be step three, but talking to Ron is not there in the picture currently. Okay, so am I clear over here? Please listen to the story of the person who is coming. With that, the case is over. So that's the case. Any questions around the case? When do you talk to Ron? Okay. So when do you talk to Ron? We will talk to Ron only after we have done the initial steps of getting the complaint registered, doing the initial the requirement of document, and then sending a letter to Ron, and then Ron gets around 10 days to reply on that complaint, and then we meet Ron with the complaint response on the complaint.
Question from Gayatri: why do we register complaint rather we talk to him is better?
Again, what did I just say? It is important to report these cases. Do you think a person who did not understand for the next 2 months that he should not be bothering this person will understand by you talking to him? At the end, can you ask Ron to resign if proven guilty or terminate? Yes, Abhishek, we can definitely do that. IC has the power, and the management must comply within the 60 days once the verdict is given.
Gayatri is requesting to unmute. I'll check with admin if that is possible.
Of course, you must publicize about it. Because please understand, only then people must know the repercussions of their activity.
I'll request other participants to mute themselves. Gayatri, you can put your question now.
Yeah, thank you. Vandana, what I feel is in this case, if a committee, internal IC committee member is talking to Ron and he's fine, like, okay, fine, and he is feeling guilty for that, might be like both the human resources, two human resources in the organization will be there, and probably that makes a better I feel because it's a life of our employment of the two individuals in the organization. Maybe both are useful resources to the organization.
Very valid question, and you've spoken like a true HR. Okay.
Thank you.
Understand, this is not your case. This is the case of Anya. And Anya is the person who should be taking this decision, not you or the IC on their behalf. We can actually give the option of settlement before, okay, but that is something only if she asks for it. You can't say that you should not be putting a case because that person is important to the organization. Then you are choosing. Okay, I unmuted myself. Okay, so that means you are choosing that you want performance more than ethics or the safety of your employee. You have to make it zero tolerance.
Well,
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't wanted to, want to keep my mic on mute when I was not talking.
That's okay.
Okay. Vandana, I mean to say, like, if Anya is okay, like, because it was just an invitation by Ron and nothing more was there from Ron's side. In that case, maybe like we can talk to Anya also, and if she agrees and accepts that she was not mentally much pressurized, probably.
My point is that you have to wait for what Anya says. If
Okay.
Anya says, please talk to him, you talk to him. If she says, I want to put a complaint, you have to take the complaint and process it. You are not the
Okay.
decision maker here. You are just somebody who guides the investigation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, yes, and in the previous point wherein Abhishek had asked, I think, can we publicize? When I say publicize, yes, you must publicize, but only after the verdict is passed. It is important that you tell that there was a case You can actually not tell who was involved, but you can tell the person who was prosecuted. It is important that the person know, that the people know in the company. And there is no harm in that. You need not get into the details, but you can announce that we have taken this action against this person because he was found guilty. That's it. You need not give an explanation apart from that. Any other question?
We have a question from Anuja. At times, business pushes HR to not to suspend or terminate an employee, stating they are important to business. How do we deal with this situation?
I think business and HR has no say here. You know, this can lead to even cancellation of your license, business license. So please understand, that's how stringent the government is getting.
Yes, it's already 4:10. We are running out of time, so we can go
Okay, I
to
have this
the.
last slide, which is important
Yes.
again.
We will
Before
continue with the question answer in last 5 minutes, but we can go ahead with the presentation, and meanwhile we'll be running a poll as well.
Sure. Okay, so steps to create safe workplace. As HR professionals, we have gone through the case, we have understood how to recognize, we have actually understood the definition, the history, and now it is important to do a checklist. We will share a checklist. That's my gift to everyone, to all the professionals sitting here. We will be sharing a checklist in the chat box now. Please make sure you download and utilize it as per your requirement. No, but there are few things that I want to mention. That is framing a gender agnostic policy. Please understand, it is no more just related to men, women. While I understand the act is about women, however, all my organization with whom I work or have worked have had gender agnostic policy, because sexual harassment is a thing which should happen with no one. And with the, with people there is, the LGBT community is actually going through a revolution at this time, where a lot of people are trying to come up, okay, come out to people and express their gender. So this is the time to make them feel safer, give them a safe working place. This is the minimum that and a mandatory thing by the law, by the act, for every employer to do. We must make sure that it happens. Policies should be updated regularly and promptly. Please make sure. Don't just sit on this. This has a legal advantage to you. Conducting awareness sessions every quarter. I have already stated enough, I can't say it anymore. It is important. Please understand, if you don't talk about it, nobody will get to know. I know you might feel there will, your employees can actually come up to say and tell you, make statements, like all the time, why do we talk about sexual harassment? Because despite we are talking all the time, 65% of women are not reporting it. That is the answer. Continuous communication. Let's talk verbally, non, whatever is the channel. What, even, in fact, my, when in 2007, when this guideline came into picture, ever since, there have been a lot of work in the way of creating awareness. But now, due to the COVID crisis, we have gone virtual. Think about this situation. The current situation is that the employer was not even be able to manage physical cases which were being reported. But now, when they are, the people are not sitting in work office, you know, they are sitting virtually and they are reporting sexual harassment. There are times we have, the women have gone, in a situation where to, they are confused whether this should be considered under harassment or they will not be considered under harassment. Please understand, there are two things you must remember. There is a working hour time policy there for a reason. Irrespective whether you work from home or you work from office, you must follow it. In case there is a need for a meeting, please to try to keep it non-video until unless it is necessary. If it is, if you are taking a video call, make sure your background is in such a manner that it is not offensive. These are the minimum things. Please do not message and or reply on WhatsApp statuses. Not everybody had everybody numbers before this, but now you have everybody's number. But that is only for official purpose. Until you know somebody on a friendly, there is a difference between a colleague and a and a friend. Please remember that line. Don't forget. Just because you have the WhatsApp number, you know the person, you see a status, you comment. No, think twice. Creating internal committee, number one requirement. Training your internal committee, even more necessary, because internal committee members are like you and me, HR professionals who do not come with an investigative mindset. I keep telling, investigative mindset took me around 10 years to build. It has built over a period of time. Everybody, we all have grown judging everybody. Look at her dress, look at his tie, look at the way he combs, look at the way she dresses. She's all so flattery. Please think what you're talking. We have been doing it, and we have to unlearn it, and there is a lot of time which will go in unlearning. And in learning, investigate, training your internal committee, that's the number one thing. Because these people would be sitting and investigating a case, they must know how to investigate. Maintain strict confidentiality on the case. All the cases which are reported are highly confidential for both complainant and the respondent. Please understand, anybody, in case you are the one who have been called to put a statement, okay, as a witness to support the case, you still do not have the leeway. You are IC member, you don't have the leeway to discuss even with the other IC member outside that meeting room. In case there is a requirement, please again assemble and then connect. Try to have these meetings outside your workplace, because we all follow open door policy today, and all our cabins are see-through cabins. If there is an investigation which is going on in the office, everybody gets to know. So the confidentiality is the number one thing. And there is, again, please understand, in case there is a case wherein confidentiality is breached, everybody can be penalized there, including the employer. Maintain strict, installing building access control. Again, very important. In case you do not have building access control, I'm not asking you to put in attendance system, but an access control wherein you punch in and then get inside. Okay, very important. CCTV coverage and monitoring of cafeterias, of galleries, of those corners wherein you have closed meeting, because of course you don't have camera in your meeting room, but you can have a camera pointing towards the meeting room. At least we can understand what was going, considering they are all see-through. These are the minimum. With this, I'm going to rest my case. Any questions can be asked. Okay, so can we have a quick pledge? I pledge to stop sexual harassment. You can take a screenshot and post it on social media. Let people know about it. Can you all say? Can you all say with me? Can you unmute everybody, please? I want everybody to say this.
Sure.
One, two, and three. Let's pledge to stop
I
sexual
pledge
harassment.
I pledge to stop sexual harassment.
Can we do it once again? I pledge to stop sexual harassment.
I pledge to stop sexual harassment.
Thank you so much. You can please let the world know about it. It is important we start talking about it. That's it. Any questions? Any more questions? Please feel free to put in.
Thank you. Wonderful session. Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am.
Great. Dear.
Before we start the question and answer session, we'll take last one or two questions. But before that, I would request all the participants to please participate in the poll and give your valuable feedback on this session. We'll just pause for a few seconds, and last one or two questions we'll take. So this was not a question, but very valid point Maitri had put in, which we all generally think. Like recently in UP, what happened, we all know, and after that also same thing happened in UP only in very short time, but we are unable to stop those things. So many times people feel they can't do anything in this country. So what we can do on this?
My point is this: the enemy is as stronger as you want it to be. If you think, because Dashera has gone by, Ravana was much stronger, much wealthier, with more infrastructure, with more number of people in his army, with more 10 heads. But the army of Rama was able to kill him. I am not somebody who celebrates death, but I want to make this point. If you want, you can nail it.
Question, please share a few instances included in sexual harassment in current scenario of work from home.
In current scenario of work from home, that one of the case, I had resolved was wherein there was a need, there was an ongoing project wherein everybody was working on that project. Okay. And now this project requires longer hours because obviously when you are working virtually, the team is together. And, each time there was no real office timing policy which was being followed. However, for some reason, the manager persisted on having everybody on video call. Okay, even though there was a call which was happening at 12 in the night. Okay, so everybody was supposed to. So when you are on video call, you are not just live with your face, but you also have your house, which is live. Please understand, a house is supposed to be a safe place for you. And at 12 o'clock, if I don't know how I'm sitting, I am supporting work considering the timeline. Now this case came to me and we did deal it because we had to take actions against the manager, because the manager was already given a training before we started work from home. It was important, and there was a training which was conducted to ensure people do not breach this. This was already told to them in a training. However, he persisted to, and we had to take actions. This is one of the case which happened. And I had already mentioned this WhatsApp thing. WhatsApp, Facebook, please understand. Nobody is enjoying your WhatsApp jokes. If you're sending those sexist joke on a WhatsApp group, think twice. Because it can, you don't know. I have done it. I have highlighted it. I was bold enough to highlight it. Okay. And I have actually complained it. But that doesn't matter. There can be a person who is getting offended but might not be complaining. Do you really want to be the reason of somebody's uncomfort? Yes, VC should be denied. VC is not mandatory. In fact, in today's scenario, what happens, the work, like, there is a work which comes after 7 o'clock, while my office hour got over at 6 o'clock. However, because I'm working from home, the manager feels free to call me. Why is it that required? Why can't it be a regular day at work? In an ideal scenario, it would have waited for a tomorrow. Why can't it wait tomorrow for tomorrow now? And please understand, in this case, I always try to let employees also know. It is their responsibility to also understand that the manager is also going through a difficult phase. Okay. If there is a reason behind having a video camera on, seeing my face, if there is a reason, then it is fine. In case there is no reason, I don't understand. Like, I'm giving a training. Here, you must have a face to look at while I'm, training. This is a connection that we are making through virtual media. So it is important to have a camera. But for a project discussion, you know this person, you have known this person forever. Like, for, I don't know how many years she has been working in that organization. But this persistence of putting on the camera, I don't know. Only then he understands that the person is focusing. We have to leave the job of becoming task managers. That's something that we have to learn. I would request, in case you are comfortable and want to put on your video for a quick selfie with me, I would love
No, I'm from Germany. I am like, I'm from home. Like still a lazy morning.
That's okay. That's okay. In case you can't, that's okay.
Thank you for understanding.
Always. In case you can, please feel free to put on your camera. I would love to have a selfie with you.
So thank you so much, Vandana, for sharing wonderful insight. It was amazing session. We got to learn so many things, especially about those case study and all the questions. And you have literally put in very good answers on different cases. So it was very wonderful, very useful session for all of us. And to all our participants, we hope that you all had a great session as well. We make sure that we are able to answer all the questions. However, if any of your questions are unanswered during this live masterclass, then please let us know. We will coordinate with the speaker and will revert the answers through mail or WhatsApp. You can also access the slides and recording of today's session on our YouTube link, which is shared in the chat window. And please feel free to like and share this along to your colleagues or friends. Thank you so much, Vandana, once again, and thank you so much to all the participants for joining in. Before we conclude with today's session, we would also want to thank all the association members, Asia, LinkedIn, and NASCOM COE for supporting these HRAI events. To know more about this association, I would request all of you to kindly visit the links provided in the chat window. Thank you once again to our dear speaker and all the participants for joining in. Do join us for our next session on connecting the dots on the topic, the gig economy, today, tomorrow, and beyond. On 5th of November 2020, request you to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window. Thank you so much once again. See you all for our next session. Till then, please stay safe, take extra precautions, take care, and bye for now. And wish you a very happy weekends as well.
No, thank you so much, Nehali.
And thank you, Nehali, and thank you so much for all of you for responding so much. I know I drive a lot of engagement by forcing you to respond. Thank you, Rashi, for being my technical support with my co-founder and every entire team of HR Association of India. Really, really thankful for giving me this opportunity. Goodbye.
Vandana, thank you so much. It was a very interactive session and we really enjoyed the session, and it was even more interactive apart from learning.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gayatri, to you as well, and participants like you who are into different country, time zone difference, but still joining in. Thank you so much for motivating all of us to join and connect, no matter what are the situations.
Thank you, Nehali. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.